Alright guys, this is the video you have been waiting for. We have the Action 6, we have the Action 5 Pro, we have the DJI Osmo Nano, and we have one of the most famous ones, the Pocket 3. Now you guys asked for it. I'm going to be comparing these cameras side by side. The settings I'll be using are 4K, 30 frames per second in the wide mode, sharpness and noise reduction set to -2, auto exposure at -0.3 EV, D-Log M of course, with DJI's free LUT applied. So let's take a look at the results. Alright, this is when the Action 6 is at f2.8 locked. How do these look side by side? I actually don't even know which one is going to look best, or even which one is going to sound best. This is the Action 6 with the built-in microphone. If I'm going to be honest, I think this one has one of the best microphones I've ever heard in an action camera. Definitely better than the Action 5 Pro when I tested it yesterday. So how does it look? How does it feel? I do like this really wide look. It makes it really easy to vlog and just kind of show everything around you in frame. And yeah, this is locked in at f2.8. So let's see how it looks. Now here is the predecessor, the Action 5 Pro, one of the GOATs in terms of action cameras, and one that I still very much respect. I think this is still a very viable option in 2025 if you can get it at a good price. I think unless the content you're making is about camera gear, then you don't really need the latest and greatest. There's a YouTube channel I really like. I forgot the name of it, but basically it's this girl who goes hiking, camping alone, and she shoots the entire thing on the Action 3, and it still looks super good. So guys, you don't always have to upgrade every year, but here is the Action 5 Pro. Now we have one of the GOATs, the Osmo Nano. Now I say it's one of the GOATs because this is the image that most people seem to really like. I think it's because the lens is just not as wide, and narrower lenses always look more flattering. So this is the Nano. I really like it. I think this is one of my favorites. This is definitely a keeper for me no matter if I go Action 5 Pro, Pocket 3, or Action 6. The things you can do with this make it really unique, and it pretty much has the same image as the Action 5 Pro. So this is just one of the reasons why I think this camera is absolutely goated. I can straight up detach it from its actual monitor and hold it just like this, and it's just goated. The form factor and ease of use of this one is just superior. So this is the Nano. Alright, so this is the video from the Pocket 3. I've never been a huge fan of like gimbal cameras just because, I don't know, I feel like I don't have really full control over the image, although it is super stable, you know, you don't have to ever really worry about that, and it'll be even more stable in low light compared to the other ones which are using digital stabilization. Again, not my style, but it still looks good, so I thought I would throw it in here, and this is still probably one of the most popular cameras ever sold in the past few years, so this is the Pocket 3. Now here we have again the Action 5 Pro and the Action 6. Now these are the two that people really want to compare, and I see why. The Action 5 Pro, I think you still get a ridiculous amount of value for the prices now since they're going down, and you guys have to let me know which one you think looks better. I looked at the footage and definitely the Action 6 is better in low light, but a lot of people were hoping for a bit more depth of field, and that really doesn't seem to be the case. So here are the two cameras side by side. What do you guys think? In terms of low light footage, the Action 5 Pro and Nano look really similar. I think the Nano looks better sometimes, but the Action 6 is definitely a lot cleaner. This is where that larger aperture and that bigger sensor play in. But then obviously the Pocket 3 with the largest sensor looks the best. I think one of the only reasons I would upgrade from the Action 5 Pro to the Action 6 is if you do mainly low light. Again, here we can see the Action 5 Pro is quite similar to the Nano, and then the Action 6 is just much brighter. And then if you like that more DSLR look, that's where the Pocket 3 comes in. In my first impressions video with the Action 6, this guy actually called me a dumbass because I was holding the microphone and not magnetically pinning it here, which I know how to do, sir. I just don't really like how that looks. I also got flamed because I said the images don't seem to look that different when I hadn't already looked at the footage on my computer, which I get. But if you've been doing this long enough, you can kind of see on the monitor, especially because it's so big and bright, which I mentioned in the last video, that comparing it to the Nano and the Action 5 Pro, it didn't look that different. And part of that first impressions video was just letting people know who see the Action 5 Pro on a discount whether it's worth waiting and paying more for the Action 6. So thank you guys for the comments. For those of you who are hoping for depth of field out of the Action 6, it doesn't really have any. It does give you one extra stop of light compared to the Action 5 Pro, but the annoying thing is that you can't even lock it at f2.0. If you lock the aperture, you can either lock it at f2.8 or f4, f4 giving you the closest minimum focus distance. The only time the lens goes automatically to f2 is if you're in really low light situation. I'm not really sure why they did this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I definitely do think this is an upgrade from the 5 Pro, but it doesn't seem like a 6 Pro, if you know what I mean. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 6 months or 12 months they come out with the Action 6 Pro. As of right now, there is no 8K. The sensor, yes, is slightly bigger. Although it does use the same magnetic mounting system, it is a different size, so it does not fit in the same cage. I'm currently speaking with a company that wants to send the ND filter, so I'll be testing that kind of soon. But then again, other than for a bit of motion blur, you're not really going to get that much depth of field. People ask me if this overheated like the Action 5 Pro or the Nano, but I've never gotten these to overheat, and I think if you are overheating these cameras, you're not using them for what they're meant for. All in all, if you have a really good deal for the Action 5 Pro, go for it. Like and subscribe, that helps me a lot. This took a while to make, and I'll see you guys in the next video, all right? Peace.